The performance improvement process that most people lack, and we do have this guide available. Basically, the way it works is you have to have clear targets, goals that people are working towards. You have to have clear processes, procedures in your organization. You have to exchange clear expectations for people's behaviors. So there's no assumptions. You shouldn't be getting upset with someone because you assumed they knew how to behave, but they didn't know how to behave. That's not fair. You've got to work that out. When those systems are in place, then what you have to do is you have to be the good cop. When something goes wrong, meet with the person, ask questions on what happened. I mean, mistakes happen, but you want to be respectful. You want to be empathetic, but be an active listener. Say, okay, I noticed this thing happened. It seems like it's contrary to our standards, our policy, whatever. Can you talk to me? What happened here? Why did this go down this way? And have a conversation. It's just verbal. That's the first stage. You just have a verbal. Okay, well, let's come to agreement on how we're going to do this in the future. The strategy is don't jump to conclusions. So you've got a piece of information that tells you something went wrong, and that might be 100% correct that something went wrong. But you still want to approach it like a good cop, like a nice person, and say, this is what I noticed. This isn't up to our standards. Can you tell me why is this happening? Ask questions. When you have the conversation, you try to use the pronoun we. How are we going to change this? What are we going to do about this? Not you did this wrong. You need to straighten up or I'm going to fire your blankety blank. You're not saying I would never do that, which would be kind of an opposite extreme, which is equally unpleasant. It's, hey, what do we do about this? How do we do this? But the boundary's firm. Can't cross this. And remember, in the good cop, bad cop leadership, the bad cop is company policy. I can't violate the policy. The client expectations. Oh, we can't do this to the clients. Maybe they're hurting their team members. This is hurting the team. We can't allow that. So what can we do about this can be corrected? Basically, you're approaching it nicely. You're investigating. You're asking questions. You're ending the conversation with next steps. So there's an agreement on what we're going to do coming out of the conversation. A fair amount of the time, you can say, okay, well, I'm glad we agree. Next steps. Would you please just email me confirmation, briefly what we talked about and what the next steps are, just so I can see from you that we're on the same page. That's all. I don't need a long email. It can be 3 sentences. That's all. But let's just drop me an email, just confirm, but I really appreciate this. Let me know how I can help you. Yes, that may be a paper trail legally, but that's not my objective. My objective is that too often leaders will say things to employees and they nod their head. And then the leader goes this way, the employee goes this way with 2 different understandings of what just came down. So when you ask the other person, the person who reports to you, to just drop me an email to confirm, you get some clarification that yes, they understood we're on the same page or not. Basically, you're going to go through 1 or 2 verbal conversations about a subject that happens in a relatively short amount of time. So for instance, some of the things that a lot of our clients deal with is technical people, billable resources, documenting their hours and documenting their work. If that's happening twice in a week, twice in a few weeks, or even twice in a month, you may have 2 conversations on that. Or at the second conversation or the third one, you're actually going to do a write-up. So that's the second stage of the performance improvement process, is you're going to do a write-up. I'm sure there's some things neurologically where people have studied and they've written some things, but I can't state it verbatim from memory right now. But it changes the dynamic of the conversation when you say, okay, well, we've talked about this before, particularly if we talked about it twice. Because when you're having those conversations, you're also saying, if this continues happening, we're going to have to do a write-up. And if that doesn't solve it, we'll have to go to a performance improvement plan. I don't want it to go that way. So how can we work this out? That's part of the verbal. Then you're going to bring in the write-up. And when it's written up, you walk through it and they have to sign it. That catches their attention. Or the terminology is typically consequences for this lead up to and can include termination.